You ever walk away from a conversation and feel off? Like you said something small, something harmless, and somehow it got used against you later. Not in a dramatic way, just subtle, quiet, almost invisible. They treat you slightly differently. They mention something you told them, but twisted just enough to make you question yourself. And the worst part? You told them that. Here's the thing nobody really says out loud. Not everything about you deserves to be understood by everyone. And by the time we get to the last one, you'll understand why the things you overshare say more about your nervous system than your personality. If you're being honest, you've probably done this more than once. You meet someone, the conversation flows, it feels easy, safe even. And before you realize it, you're sharing things you don't usually share. Your struggles, your plans, the parts of you that still feel a little unfinished. In the moment, it feels like connection. But later, you replay it. Every word, every detail. And there's this quiet voice in your head asking, why did I say all that? And if you've ever sat there, staring at your phone, wishing you could take your words back, then you already know this isn't about being too open. It's about something deeper, something your brain is doing automatically without asking you first. There's a study called the Ash Conformity Experiment. They brought people into a room and asked them to match lines on a card. The answer was obvious, like painfully obvious. But here's what they didn't know. Everyone else in the room was in on it. One by one, those people gave the wrong answer, confidently, casually, like it was normal. And something strange happened. A huge number of participants started doubting their own eyes. Some even gave the wrong answer too, just to fit in. That's how powerful the need for connection is. Your brain would rather feel accepted than be right. And that same mechanism, it's why you sometimes say things you shouldn't. Not because you're careless, but because your brain is trying to secure safety in the fastest way it knows, by being seen, understood, and accepted immediately. But that instinct comes with a cost, and most people don't realize what they're actually giving away. There's something about saying your plans out loud that feels productive, like once you've told someone it becomes more real, more official. But research around motivation suggests something counterintuitive. When you talk about your goals, your brain can release a small sense of reward as if you've already made progress, so you feel good without actually doing anything yet. And then there's the social side of it. Most people won't sabotage you directly. They don't need to. All it takes is a slightly dismissive reaction, a raised eyebrow, a casual "we'll see," and suddenly your certainty feels thinner. If you've ever shared something you were excited about and then lost energy for it the next day, that wasn't random. Your brain picked up on social feedback and adjusted. Most people talk about their plans early, but people who move differently, they move quietly first, because not every vision survives exposure. And what you're about to realize next is even more personal than your goals. This one feels almost unfair because vulnerability gets praised everywhere. Open up, be honest, share how you feel. And yeah, in the right environment, that matters. But here's the part nobody likes admitting. Not everyone knows how to hold your vulnerability. Psychology calls this rejection sensitivity. It's when your brain is constantly scanning for signs of disapproval. So when you share an insecurity, you're not just expressing it, you're watching how they react to it. And if their response is even slightly off, your brain locks onto it. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Some people will remember your insecurities, not to hurt you, but to understand how to position themselves around you. You've probably felt this before. Someone makes a joke and it lands a little too precisely, like they knew exactly where to aim. That's not coincidence. So yeah, vulnerability is powerful, but misplaced vulnerability, that's exposure. And what you reveal about your past can shape how people treat you in the present. People say your past doesn't define you, and logically that's true. But socially, it's more complicated. Your brain uses something called cognitive dissonance. It tries to keep a consistent image of people. So when someone learns something about your past, their mind quietly builds a version of you around it, even if you've changed, even if you're not that person anymore. And the wild part is, they don't even realize they're doing it. You ever notice how someone brings up something you did long after you've outgrown it? Like they've frozen you in a moment you've already moved past. That's not them being malicious. That's just how the brain organizes people into simple, stable stories. So when you share your past mistakes too freely, you're giving people material to define a version of you that might not exist anymore. And once that version sticks, it's hard to undo. But what you tell people about yourself in the present might be even more powerful than your past. This one sounds strange at first. Aren't you supposed to express boundaries? Yes, but not always in the way you think. There's a difference between living your boundaries and announcing them. When you over-explain your limits, you give people a map of where they can push. Not everyone will respect what you say, but they will notice what you tolerate. This connects to something called locus of control. If your sense of control is internal, you act based on your standards. If it's external, you adjust based on reactions. And when you over-explain your boundaries too much, you're quietly asking for permission to keep them. You've probably seen this play out. You tell someone you don't like something, and they do it again, slightly differently, just enough to test you. Not because they're evil, but because humans test limits. It's instinct. Strong boundaries don't argue, they act. And the last thing on this list is the one that explains why you feel drained around certain people even when nothing bad happened. This is the one most people don't expect, because it feels healthy to express what you feel immediately. But your brain doesn't always process emotions in real time. There's something called emotional processing delay. Your nervous system needs time to understand what you're feeling, not just react to it. So when you say everything as it comes up, you're often speaking from a half-processed state. And that's when things get messy. You say something, then later realize that wasn't exactly what you meant. Or it was, but not in the way it came out. And now you have to explain it, clarify it, fix it. And honestly, that's exhausting. If you've ever walked away from a conversation thinking, that didn't come out right, this is why. Not everything you feel needs to be shared immediately. Some things need space before they become words. Because once they become words, they're no longer just yours. So here's the part most people get wrong. They think oversharing means they're open, honest, authentic. But psychology suggests something deeper. Sometimes oversharing is actually a form of self-protection. Your brain is trying to fast-track connection, to reduce uncertainty, to feel safe quickly. It's not weakness, it's pattern recognition from past experiences. People who do this often aren't too much. They're just wired to detect emotional distance and close it fast. But once you see that pattern, you can choose when to slow it down. And that choice? That's where your peace starts. You don't need to tell everyone everything to be real. You don't need to explain yourself fully to be understood. And you definitely don't need to give people access to parts of you they haven't earned. Because the truth is, peace isn't just about who you let into your life. It's about what you let them see once they're there. And if you've been feeling drained, misunderstood, or slightly exposed after conversations, it's not random. It's your mind telling you something was shared that should have been protected. Not hidden forever, just held a little longer. So next time you feel the urge to say everything, pause. Not because you're afraid, but because you finally understand the value of what you carry. If this felt a little too accurate, like it was describing moments you haven't said out loud, then this channel is for you. Not surface-level advice, not recycled quotes, just real psychology explained in a way that actually fits your life. So if you're someone who notices things, who feels things deeply, and wants to understand why your mind works the way it does, stick around.
Because the more you understand yourself, the less you'll need to explain yourself to everyone else. And that changes everything.